Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Clive Selden.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Good to see you. The veteran's voice in America, I believe, needs to be heard at this time in this country. And I want to give you a few reasons about how I think that voice can have an impact on American society, and most importantly, what you can do about it, whether you're a veteran or not. I am extremely grateful to the Vietnam vets of the United States of America. And let me give you one reason why. Our first tour in Iraq, we came home through Dallas Airport, and we came out of the tunnel, and I was one of the leaders in our group, and we walked through that tunnel not knowing there was anybody on the other side. I wasn't home yet. My home here. I wasn't thinking there was anybody there for me. And as we came out through that tunnel, we started hearing a noise, and we walked up to probably 50 people lined on either side in a standing ovation to thank us for the job that we did. I had several hours before my flight to Seattle that evening and talked to the volunteers who were there and asked them what this was all about. And one of the organizers of that event said that he had come home from Vietnam to that airport and had been met with a very different kind of response. And the Vietnam veterans of this country are taking a stand to see that that never happens again in their lifetime. And I thank them for that. And I would say to the veterans of today, to Operation Iraqi Freedom, and if in Afghanistan, it's our turn to take that torch, that if we have troops in the future who go overseas, we need to make sure that that happens for them as well. That's one part. Wow. I'm moving over here. You know, when you learn to avoid noises for several years. I am grateful to all Americans who thank us for our service. And there's a couple of ways that really have helped out. Let me share two of them real quick with you. One of them actually happened last month. A couple friends of mine, on duty, National Guard, sound guys are back there having fun with this. On duty last month, National Guard, in Seattle, in our ACU uniform, two majors and myself, decide we're going to go for lunch at a fine eating establishment in South Lake Union. For those of you who know South Lake Union, you might be able to guess which one we went to. While we were there, somebody decided they wanted to buy a pitcher of beer for us as a thank you for our service. Now, the senior major looked at me and said, "What do you think of that?" And I'm the attorney for the brigade, and it's my job to interpret the rules. So I'm going through all the rules in my head, and I'm saying, okay, well, on the one hand, we have this gifting rule. We're not allowed to accept anything over $10, and a pitcher of beer, although it's more than $10, divided by 3 soldiers, is under $10. So we're good on the gifting rule. The second thing I said was, there's no drinking on duty. Well, technically, we're kind of sort of on duty, but duty's over there at the Armory, and we're here in South Lake Union, which we don't even know if we're allowed to be here right now, but we are here. So we're not exactly on duty. But the most important thing I said was that here are 2 American citizens who are trying to thank us for doing our job, and what right do we have to turn them down? The major thanked me for my legal opinion and accepted the pitcher of beer on behalf of all of us. That is one way to say thank you and get the troops' attention. A friend of mine recently showed me a form that the American Legion was putting out and saying, here's how to say thank you to the troops, how to support the troops. Here's a whole bunch of stuff that you can give to us, and we'll go send to them. And she showed me the list and said, so what do the troops really need? And I looked at the list and said, heck if I know. Last time we left our base, we had like a gazillion boxes of all of this stuff people kept sending us because the same list has been going around for 7 years, and we didn't need it anymore. You know what really means a lot to me? It's not the boxes that you send. I appreciate that. And the cards that you send. I appreciate that. But when you're taking care of my family back home because I'm not there and can't help them do it, I appreciate that even more. And for all of you who do that, thank you from all of the troops for helping support our families. We're overseas fighting for ideals. We're fighting for liberty. We're fighting for freedom. But my number one motivation in there, what I have pictured up on my wall, sorry, sir, it's not the Constitution. It's my family. It's my kids. I now have 2 grandkids. My grandson was born while I was in Iraq this past time. That's really who I'm there for. And when I can entrust that to you, to say that I can disappear for a year and I know my family's been taken care of, that helps me do my job easier. And as the General said, this is a team effort. You're all part of that, and I appreciate that. On behalf of myself and all the troops who serve, thank you for helping take care of our families. One last point. If you really want to say thank you to the troops, the most important monument that you can build to thank the troops is the lives that you live in the liberty that we die to defend. When we stand up and say we appreciate this liberty, when we stand up and live in it, we are giving the troops, the veterans, those who have died in service for our country, the biggest thank you that we can give them. There has been an attitude shift, I think, in our country where we started with the individual American citizen was the highest political office in this country. That's been flipped upside down. It's almost come to a point where the bureaucracy is more important than the individual citizen, where rules that get created, and we talk about rule of law, but when the rule of law sustains the bureaucracy and not the citizens of this country, in my opinion, that's upside down. It's very easy for me to stand up here and say, I blame Congress. I blame my congressmen, I blame my senators, I blame my president, but they are not the problem. The general dared us to name the enemy. The enemy is complacency. The enemy is that we have given our responsibility as American citizens to the government and said, here, take care of me, when that was never the government's job. One of the freedoms that we defend when we're overseas is the freedom to fail. You can start a company and it can go belly up, and you don't need the government to come in and give you a bailout. I have my own company right here in Bellevue. We employ people. The government is making it increasingly difficult for me to be a small business owner. To me, that's backwards. I'd love to ask them. I don't see any of them in the audience, but I'd love to ask them. If everybody in this country worked for the government, who's paying their paycheck? If they get the taxes from me as the business owner and we're gone, what do they think they're going to do? I don't have a clue. Print money. And let's see how long that lasts. There was a time, well, their song said, how do we find these good men? I was born in British Columbia. Maybe you have to go to Canada to find them. I don't know. No, that wasn't a challenge. We got like 3 canoes in our Navy. I mean, you know, you guys blow us away here in the United States. I moved to the United States the year the United States elect Ronald Reagan for the 2nd time, and in Canada we elect Pierre Trudeau for the 5th time. And I said, I'm done. I'm out of here. I moved here for a reason, and the reason's changed on me. And I wonder if I should stay. Canada let me come back. It's a more conservative country now. I might go. But I'm staying here to fight for ideals, and the number one fight that we have in the United States right now for individual liberty isn't in Iraq, and it isn't in Afghanistan. It's right here at home. And the people that need to take up that fight, are not me. There are things that I am not allowed to say in uniform, or the Uniform Code of Military Justice comes after me, and my job in the 81st Brigade is to be the enforcer of that code. And yet I'm up here telling you, if you want to defend that liberty, that's your job. That is the job of each and every American citizen, and when I take this uniform off and put on some civilian clothes, that becomes my job, and I'm up for the task. I'd like you to join me. It's the biggest fight we've got on our hands, and it's about time that we take up the battle. The most important thing, though, I came here to say tonight is sincere thank you, though, because I have felt taken care of for the 2 tours in Iraq and the 1 Homeland Security mission, which none of you know any about because we don't gather intel on our own citizens, officially. But thank you. It means a lot to me as a soldier serving overseas, 16 years in the Army National Guard now. We may get called to go again, I don't know. There's nothing on the works. I hope we all come home. I really do. I hope they wind this up and take us home and say, let's take care of this country first. That would be absolutely amazing. But if we get called to go, we're going to go. And I appreciate everyone who stays here, that is part of the community that we get to come back to. That's the number one message I have tonight from my heart to you. Thank you.